All right, everybody, welcome back. This is First and 10. Day 3 of the NFL Combine is going on right now, but I figured we should take a look at some Day 1 and Day 2 standouts. First of all, we've got Maxwell Hairston, the corner out of Kentucky. He listed in at 5'11", 183 pounds, so he's not huge, but he put up some seriously impressive numbers. 4.28 40-yard dash, fastest among the cornerbacks, listed 39.5-inch vertical and a 10-foot 9-inch broad jump. And it shows on film. He's got real explosiveness. His speed and burst are elite, and it showed off in drills. His hips are so fluid, and he changes directions really quick. He's natural in man coverage too, and he's got instincts to succeed in zone as well. One of his biggest strengths is his route recognition. He does a really good job of anticipating breaks and getting to the ball before the receiver does. And I mean, when you watch his tape, he's consistently making plays on the ball. Now, he is a little bit inconsistent when we're talking about deep down the field. He does have some issues locating it. However, there are plays on tape where he absolutely shows it off, as we see this play against Texas right here. On a deep pass. I mean, he makes a great play. He locates it and swats it away. I mean, overall, Harrison's combine performance, I think he solidified himself as a big riser in this class. His consensus ranking has been around 60, and it has been dropping a little bit before the combine. I've had him a little bit higher on my board. He's sitting at 43 right now. I think he's an easy second-round pick, and I mean, he very well could sneak into the back end of the first round here. I mean, he's just got natural athleticism. He does make really good breaks on the ball. I mean, when you watch his tape, you can see that he's, when he is reading it, when he is anticipating those breaks, I mean, he snaps real quick. He's super explosive. There are some worries about his size, how he's going to hold up against NFL competition. Dare I say, a little bit of Jair Alexander, kind of an undersized corner, good in man coverage. Incredible athlete. I don't know. It's something to watch here. But Maxwell Hairston was not the only corner that had himself a day at the Combine. There's another guy kind of in the similar consensus draft position, Darian Porter, corner from Iowa State. Now, he's a lot bigger. He's got ideal NFL size at 6'3", 198 pounds, 33 and an eighth inch arms, and he's 4'3", 40-yard dash, 36.5-inch vertical, still really solid, 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump, and I mean 6'7", or 6'7", 3-cone. He just has a rare blend of size and speed, and that's what makes him so intriguing. He's really good closing out. It helps him recover when he's slightly out of position. He's got good ball tracking skills, and that also showed out in drills. He's really good in zone coverage, more so than Hairston, who's more of a man guy. But Porter's really good at reading the quarterback and reacting well to those throws. I think he would fit really well in a cover 3 system. And he's also a special teams ace. Just seeing there that blocked extra point a few seconds ago, you love to see that. Now, the reason he is a special teams ace is one of the weaknesses about him as a prospect. This is year 6 for him, and it's really his first year starting. Now, I get he was a stud on special teams, and surely if a guy's playing that well, you don't want to take him off that, but there is no way that was preventing him from being in the starting lineup. He was a converted wide receiver, so it's possible that he was just really raw, and you can see that on tape. He is lacking in certain areas that you just think are going to come with more experience. But despite those concerns, his upside is undeniable. Right now, his consensus ranking's at 45. I've got him at 44, right there next to Maxwell Hairston. I think it's just kind of a which corner do you prefer. He's a long-term project, or maybe not necessarily a long-term project, but kind of a 2-year project with elite starting potential. And I mean, teams looking for a rangy athletic zone corner, absolutely going to be interested. Same deal. I think he could go back into the first round to the right system. Just thinking Philadelphia doesn't need a corner, but that would be one of those picks where you just sit there and you're like, oh man, the Eagles GM, freaking Howie Roseman does it again. You never know though. But moving on to our next player, this guy didn't do every drill in the combine, but I did want to discuss him because what he did was impressive compared to what I was expecting, and that's Danny Stutzman, the linebacker from the University of Oklahoma. Danny Stutzman is a unique one in that had he come out last year, he probably would have been a second-round pick. But Oklahoma was in a really tough spot this year, and he was put in a difficult situation and has just been kind of slowly falling throughout the year. But he had a fantastic combine. He measured in right about where I expected at 6'3", 233. OU had him listed at 6'4", 240, but you could tell on tape he wasn't really that big. 32 and an 1/8 inch arms and 9-inch hands are fine enough for the position. Not really much of a concern as far as linebackers go. But his 4.5 240-yard dash was something I did not expect. He always looked a little bit stiff on tape, and I thought he had solid straight line speed, but I was expecting low 4.6s. So to see him come out and run a 4.52 was really indicative of something, because he is an absolute leader for the team. He puts his body on the line and plays every game like it's his last. I mean, his best traits are his ability to stop the run. He's kind of an old school linebacker, but he does cover ground really well and makes good plays downhill. And he actually is a little bit underrated in his zone coverage ability, specifically in cover 2. I think he is able to drop to the deep middle half of the field fairly well and read the quarterback. He had some interceptions throughout his career. I would say his biggest concern, though, is his ability to cover shiftier backs and tight ends in coverage. And he occasionally gets a little too high on his pad level. It's just one of those things. His consensus ranking is right around 137, kind of early day 3 guy. I've got him at 118, just frankly solely based on that 40-yard dash, because I didn't expect that. So knowing that he's got a little bit more athleticism, I think his work ethic and his attitude is going to help him be a productive linebacker in the NFL, if not just a backup guy for a long time. One of those, I think like Blake Martinez, maybe Alex Anzalone, best case scenario. One of those guys, but he's a fun watch. He's you can tell in interviews too, he really cares about his team, and he's just a hard worker. I'm interested to see if he moves up at all in the consensus rankings. But moving on to our next guy here, we've got CJ West, the interior defensive lineman from Indiana. He was a really fun guy. I honestly didn't know much about him going into the combine here, but measured in at 6'1", 316. That's the size of a defensive tackle I like. I like those undersized, just big guys that get good leverage. 31.5-inch arms, a little small there. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but it is what it is. This is a guy who's consensus 160. This is a late round defensive tackle. He's a fun player, though. 4.95 40 was much faster than I was expecting, given his size, and a 1.73 10-yard split. I mean, it does show on tape. He's pretty explosive coming off the ball. Now, he has one problem in that he is really slow off the snap. However, once he actually starts to move, his movement itself is very quick and very agile for a guy of his size. His best trait is his natural leverage. For a shorter defensive tackle, it works in his favor. He gets underneath offensive linemen and can kind of push and swim around them. He's got good lateral movement too, which helps him kind of work up and down the line and disrupt running plays. Indiana used him all throughout the line. They lined him up at kind of a 4-eye, 5-tech position multiple times throughout the season. So you combine that versatility and then some pretty underrated athleticism for a guy projected where he is, and I think he's a really sneaky player. I mean, he absolutely could project as a rotational defensive tackle, probably in a 3-4 scheme where he can kind of rotate around, play some nose if he needs to, and then play outside, play on the edge kind of, or in that 3-4, I suppose, defensive end role. He's definitely a day 3 pick, but with the right development, he could absolutely find a role with the right coach. But moving on to our last guy here, we've got Terrence Ferguson, the tight end out of Oregon. Terrence Ferguson was really interesting too. I had him a little lower on my board compared to where the consensus was on him, but he absolutely proved something at the combine. So listed in at 6'5", 247, great size, 32 and 7/8 inch arms, 9 1/4 inch hands. I mean, good measurements there for a tight end. And geez, 4.63 40, 1.55 10-yard split, 39-inch vertical. That is insanely impressive. I mean, those numbers suggest that he's got athleticism to be a real mismatch weapon. I would say his best traits are his ball skills and body control, more so from a spectacular catch kind of perspective, I guess, in the Madden sense. He's really good at high pointing the ball and making those difficult catches. I've seen some mixed opinions in terms of his actual contested catch ability. His contested catch rate is not super high. However, when he does make it, they are impressive catches. It's kind of a TJ Hawkinson thing. Hawkinson is an incredible tight end, but just every once in a while, he drops a ball that kind of makes you wonder, what's happening here? What's going on? But Ferguson's a good player. His run blocking's a little inconsistent, and his routes aren't super crisp. Right now, he just kind of seems like a vertical seam threat, big guy, red zone threat type of player. But fourth round, where his consensus is, absolutely worth it. He's someone I'm going to have to dive into the tape a little bit more because I've seen some mixed opinions about him. And just being honest, I haven't watched a ton of his tape. I've seen the highlight videos and seen a couple games of his, but I'm not super familiar. So this combine is definitely put him on the map for me, and I'm going to have to check him out here a little bit more because I've got a top 100, top 150 video, and I wonder if he could sneak into the top 100 in some boards, just given the combine. But regardless, really fun player. That is going to wrap up the video, though, of our day 1 and day 2 combine standouts. Thank you for everyone who is watching here. I should have either a top 100 or a top 150 coming soon, and then we'll probably do a day 3 combine video as well, because I am very excited about the running backs and wide receivers. It started about 30 minutes ago, and I've been withholding myself from the information as I finish up this video here. But once again, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and take care.